Alright, today we're going to show you how to cut table tennis rubber. I've had many customers email me and ask me how I cut rubber. So first I guess we go over the tools. As you can see here, this is all we use. The basics of the cutting board is you have this healable cutting material. You buy this in a big sheet. You cut it to fit the size of a piece of plywood. Or you can just put this on a table as well. What we do is we have a 3/4 inch piece of plywood and we use a bearing, a Lazy Susan bearing. And you can get these at Ace Hardware has them. They're not that expensive, they're like $3. So you just take this, piece of wood and you mount it to here. And you can just throw this on top of here. If you want to put some screws in this to hold this down, you can. I don't find it necessary though, because I like it to be able to move around a little bit. It heals, but you can see this one's just about had it. Once it gets enough scrapes in it, it starts to leave a little rubber behind. So this one's on its last leg, but we're going to go ahead and use it today. Your basic Exacto knife. Don't get the fancy ones. The fancy ones don't work. This is just the very most basic one you can buy. Razor blades. Okay, do not buy your Exacto blades or any sort of blade from Amazon, because most of them start out real and then they get hijacked by fake garbage. They truly are trash. There's two types of blades I recommend. My highest recommendation goes to these hobby blades, these number 11 hobby blades. And I'm not affiliated with these guys, but they're awesome. This is, you can see that there. This is the Razor Blade Company. These guys sell these in a 100-pack, and they're cheaper than what you can buy on Amazon or eBay. And they're actually legit. These guys are legit. They source their blades in the same place every time. They last pretty good, lifespan-wise. They'll do 2 cuts, and then they start to peter out. Your other option, if you don't want to buy a 100-pack, you can buy a smaller pack, but I recommend the Exacto Extra Life blade. The Exacto Extra Life blade is better than the Razor Blade Company blades, but not for table tennis, because the point on the blade is made to be durable, but it's also thicker, so you don't get a complete cut in one pass a lot of times with the X-Life blades. But the X-Life blades are good. They're a little more expensive. I still recommend for table tennis specifically, there's nothing I've found better than the Razor Blade Company blades. And they, like I said, they sell them by the 100-pack. So we're going to use the Razor Blade. And obviously we buy ours by the 1,000. I mean, that's what it looks like. You know, that's how we go through blades. Alright, so we got our bat set up. This is how I set all my blades. If I'm doing 20 blades at a time, I'll have 3 of these tables lined up with blades. I always put the red rubber on the top and the black rubber on the bottom. Today we're going to be doing for the sample, we're going to be doing a pen hold, a Fire Dragon Hinoki. The guy wants a 1/2 inch handle gap, so that means we're going to gap the handle right there. If you want to get it precise, you should measure it, but I've done so many of these I don't need to measure anything. The customer wants the rubber to stay on the bat, not permanently, but he doesn't want to bump the edge and have the rubber come off. So by default, we use rubber cement. Rubber cement works better than water-based glue, period, end of story. I don't want to hear any argument. Rubber cement has been used much longer than water-based glue. Water-based glue is okay. The latex kind that kind of peels off in one sheet, which is very similar to tear mender, that stuff's pretty good. The stuff that's gooey, like the butterfly stuff, that's horrible. You should never put that on your blade unless you want to ruin your blade and throw it in the trash. That's the best way to ruin a blade. This stuff is great because you put it on, and if you ever wanted to get it off, it peels off with your finger, or alternatively, you can take a little acetone, it comes right off. The water-based gooey stuff doesn't come off with acetone. It's just a straight nightmare. All right, here we go. So I'm going to put some glue on here. You can see how much faster this is in water base, much faster. I can do 30 bats in the same time somebody with water base will do 10. Alright, and now we're going to do the handle gap right here. Get it. I don't know if you can see me doing this, but that's it right there. There's your handle gap. Alright, now we'll let this dry for a couple minutes. Alright, we're back and we got the forehand all dried up. And we're just doing these one at a time right now. I have 5 or 6 customs to do, but we're going to just do this one. Alright, so you now need to get this rubber nice and even on this pinhole bat. Like I said, 1/2 inch gap. It's important on this Japanese sponge, and I learned this the hard way because the real good Japanese sponge, you don't want to stretch it on. So when you glue it, even if it's water-based or when you're using rubber cement, when you put the rubber on, you want to push it down with your hands first to get it tacked down, and then roll it after. And I just use any kind of can like this works fine. Roll it out afterwards. If you roll it on initially, what happens is it stretches it, and it can pop back, especially if you're using water-based glue. Water-based glue is not very strong, so if you kind of stretch it out with the water-based glue, you're going to get the edges are kind of pop back and separate, and you don't want that. We got a brand new blade on here, and I'll show you why they call me the machine. Okay? You start your cut, you do a little saw to get it all the way through, just like that, and you let the table do most of the work. Okay? Notice how I'm not moving the knife much? Boom, just like that. You see that? That's how the pros do it right there. Now I'm not going to go through the other side. The other side works exactly like the forehand, but that'll give you an idea how we do it here at Gambler. Thank you.